You ever look at a nutrition label and just feel lost, like you need some kind of secret decoder ring to figure it all out? Yeah, we've all been there. But here's the thing. That label, it's actually telling you a story. And over the next few minutes, we're going to learn how to read it together. And trust me, it's way easier than you think.
So before we dive in, just do me a favor. Think of something you're planning to eat today. Could be anything, a sandwich, a bowl of cereal, maybe that leftover pizza. Got it? Good. Keep that in mind because everything we're about to talk about is going to connect right back to that meal.
See, every single item in your kitchen has its own story, right? A whole journey of how it got to you. And the nutrition facts label? Well, that's its autobiography. And we are about to become expert readers, chapter by chapter.
Okay, so here it is. Think of this label as our map. We're about to go on a guided tour, and by the time we're done, you'll be able to navigate your food choices like an absolute pro. Ready? Let's go.
First stop on our tour is right at the very top of the label. This part is so important. We're talking serving size and calories. Seriously, if you get this part wrong, the rest of the map is totally useless. So let's make sure we've got this down.
Here's the #1 rule. Every other number on this label, the fat, the sugar, all of it, is for one single serving. So if you polish off a whole bag of chips and the serving size was for, say, 10 chips, you gotta do the math. It's simple, but man, it is so easy to forget. And this is where it can get a little sneaky. You grab a 12-ounce can of soda, right? You think, okay, this is one serving. But nope, the updated label actually says it's 1.5 servings. Think about that. That's 50% more sugar, 50% more calories than you probably realized you were drinking. It's a classic trap.
Next up, right below that are the calories. You can just think of calories as fuel. They're the energy your body uses for everything, from running a marathon to, just breathing. This number tells you exactly how much fuel is in one serving of that food. Simple as that. All right, now that we've got our bearings with serving size and calories, let's meet the main characters of our food story. We're talking about the big 3 macronutrients: fats, carbs, and protein. Each one has a totally different job to do in your body. Let's kick it off with fat. Now, fat gets a bad rap sometimes, but it's the most energy-dense nutrient we have, a whopping 9 calories for every gram. But here's the twist in the story. Not all fats are created equal. There are good guys and bad guys. And here they are. On the left, we've got our heroes, the unsaturated fats you find in awesome stuff like avocados, nuts, and olive oil. Then on the right, you've got the villains, saturated and trans fats that hide out in a lot of processed foods. Your mission is simple. Try to swap the villains for the heroes as often as you can.
Moving on to our next character, carbohydrates, or carbs. They clock in at 4 calories per gram, and they are your body's favorite go-to source of energy. Your brain, your muscles, they pretty much run on this stuff.
And just like with fats, carbs have a hero-villain dynamic. The good guys are complex carbs. Think whole grains and veggies. They're like a slow-burning log in a fire, giving you steady, long-lasting energy. The villains? Simple and added sugars. They're like throwing kindling on the fire. A quick, big flash of energy followed by a crash. And our third main character is protein. Also at 4 calories per gram, but protein is about way more than just energy. Think of it as the literal building block of your body. It's the construction crew. I mean, look at this resume. This stuff builds your muscles, your bones, your skin. It repairs tissues. It's just constantly at work, making sure your body stays strong and running the way it's supposed to. It's absolutely essential. Okay, so we've met the main characters, but every story has a subplot, right? Some hidden details in the fine print. Now we're going to dig into things like sodium and added sugars, because these can totally change the narrative of your food. Whoa, okay, look at that number. So the recommended limit for sodium is about 1 teaspoon of salt for the whole day, but most people are eating way more than that, and a lot of the time they don't even know it. It hides in canned soups, frozen dinners, sauces, and over time that extra sodium can be a real problem for blood pressure. Now, this is a real game changer on the new labels. They now have a separate line for added sugars. This is huge because it helps you see the difference between sugars that are naturally in something, like fruit, and the sugars that were dumped in during processing. It's an amazing clue. All right, you might want to sit down for this one. A single one of these drinks has 54 grams of added sugar. 54. Do you know what that looks like? That's about 13.5 teaspoons of pure sugar. Just
let that sink in for a second. That's more than your entire recommended daily limit of sugar, gone in just one cup.
So far, we've been zooming in on one food at a time. But we don't just eat one thing a day, right? Our diet is the whole story. So how do we make sure all these choices add up to a good one? Well, there's one last tool on the label that helps us do just that.
It's the percent daily value, or percent DV. This is basically your at-a-glance cheat sheet. It tells you if a food is high or low in a certain nutrient. And here's a super easy trick, the 5-20 rule. If it's 5% or less, that's low, which is great for things like saturated fat and sodium. If it's 20% or more, that's high, perfect for the good stuff like fiber and vitamins.
Because at the end of the day, this is the goal, right? To build a balanced plate. The My Plate guide is a great visual for this. Half your plate with fruits and veggies, the other half with lean protein and whole grains. It's that simple. And every time you read a label, you're just getting one step closer to making that plate a reality.
And just like that, you did it. You've basically unlocked a new superpower. You're not just a consumer anymore. You're a food detective. You have the skills to look at any label and know exactly what you're getting. Pretty cool, huh?
And to make it even easier, here's your official Food Detective cheat sheet. A quick 3-step check. That's all it takes. Start at the top for servings, scan the middle for the stuff you want to limit, and check the bottom for the good stuff you want more of. It's your secret weapon.
So from this moment on, you're not just guessing anymore, you're an informed reader. You hold the power to choose the stories you want to put into your body. So think back to that food you pictured at the beginning. Your next meal is a choice. What story is it going to tell?